Sáquenme la botella que funda para gastarle. Esta noche tú y yo nos vivimos la película. Luce cámara, la acción después en mi recámara. En el duelo no se sabe quién ganará. Eso baila y bebe. Ese seguro y retrocede. Que me encanta la manera en que tú lo mueves.
Solo pégate un poquito, mami, que yo quiero enseñarte lo que yo tengo para ti. Lo que tengo para ti. Te va a encantar como meto yo.
What is going on, Cowboy Nation, and of course the rest of the NFC East and the rest of the NFL? I hear myself somewhere on some kind of chat here, but I'm going to figure that out later. But right now, here we are, NFL off-season, on-season, OTAs, whatever you want to call it. There's a little bit of football. There's not any football. You can talk about some football. You can predict some football. But one thing you can't freaking do right now is watch some football. And as we are here in the building, into Primetime Studios, of course, the person that is in the building continuously is Gametime. Bryan, welcome back, sir. Welcome, sir.
What's going on, Phil and group? What's going on, everybody? It is a Friday, 7 o'clock. We got, we're going to talk. I mean, we can talk our smack. I enjoy it, but more importantly, we're talking Dallas Cowboys, right?
Yes.
What's going on, bro?
Since what happened from like the past week, I didn't not a lot, just there's a lot of OTA type of situations happening. But just us talking football, talking just the continuation, because I feel even last week we didn't really get to talk as much as we want. I mean, we can go into these subjects, and I think we can talk about every subject for hours and hours upon. Just there's so many debates when it comes to some of this team and where people think they are and where people hope that they are. And then, that's where I kind of wanted to put this episode together, kind of paint the season out for people, because as the season progresses, it's a paint by numbers, people. A little bit 88 right there. Ooh, a little color there. Oh, number 4 right there. I saw that number right there. Oh, number 13, a little color by paint by numbers.
Like
and then
that.
all of a
Look at
sudden
that.
by the end, you have hopefully a beautiful work of art. And speaking of work of art, look at this nice pictures that we have going on up here. You like that? You like that?
Overlay.
Like,
I just looked up and like, we're superheroes, baby. That's it.
I like it.
I love it.
I was like,
I'm
I gotta
excited.
change it a little bit. Yeah, exactly. You like your hat? I like how I put the hat on you with the glass. I'm like, you know what? They know him.
I'm looking at the hat. I'm like, I don't own that hat. No. I own every other hat, but I don't think I have
don't own that
hat.
costume either, man. But like, let that AI do its thing.
Look at Phil, looking clean.
Oh yeah, I liked it. I was like, oh shit, I might have to dress like that for Halloween at some point. I want this. And go to the store and be like, I want this. I don't think we got that, sir. Especially not in your size.
I got to my comments right before we went live. I got the rest of my comments. Sometimes I let them build up.
Oh yeah,
I got
understand.
to, and I just. I just got this guy. I can't find him. Again, my goal, Eagle fans. Elena, my goal is to talk Eagles as well. I try and keep you guys in the loop. I go out of my way to try and talk positive, still being a Cowboy fan. I thought you guys would. I would think that Eagle fans would enjoy their team being talked about. It's not always negative. And this one dude's like, we live rent-free in your head. No, Dick. I'm doing content so you guys have something to view. You want to just hear the same old from the same old Cowboy content creators who think that they're the best thing since sliced bread and there's nobody else on the planet? No. So, God, what do you people want? It just cracks me up. Don't let one guy, but I'm literally doing content throughout the year, like positive, so it's like, just dude, relax, brother. If you're not, it's just funny to me. But anyway, the latest rumor is it's down to 3 teams. It's hot off the presses right here.
Oh my God, yeah.
Jalen Ramsey is reportedly getting ready to be traded. And there are 3 teams: the Rams, the Commandos, and the Cowboys are in. It's going to cost a 5th round draft pick. So Drew was talking in the comments, and I rattled, I don't know, 6 guys. You know, he would say, well, who's your cornerbacks? You know, I'm like, well, okay. Bland's, you know, it digs. I don't know if he's going to be ready for the season. Yeah, Josh Butler, Israel Mukwamu, Kalen Carson. Oh, by the way, first round talent who's coming off an ACL. I get it, but Siobhan Ravel, and then hopefully a veteran. Well, here you go, people. They have kicked the tires on Gilmore. Gilmore is in their back pocket. What they're going to do is wait to see. They're going to wait and see about their injury status, how Diggs looks, how Josh Butler is looking, how Kalen Carson is looking. All 3 of those have had surgeries. Again, literally 4 out of our 6 corners are top corners are coming off of season ending. So add another name to the mix. Jalen Ramsey goes, oh, he's cooked. Well, again, I wouldn't say he's cooked. Whatever. Is he as good as he was from a few years ago?
Yeah. I mean, we understand. Well, I mean, if you somehow get him, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's a hell of a talent. When he is healthy, he's top. He's getting interceptions. He's always around the ball. As much as, sometimes you want to bash on him and stuff. The guy played in college. He did play both sides of the ball as well. I don't think that's something that people kind of forget. He was a Travis Hunter. Yeah, he wasn't doing it at that capability, but I mean, he was doing it because he had amazing ball skills with the hands and punt returns and kickoff returns, and then kind of like a Charles Woodson type of situation. And when he got to it, he was able to focus on one side of it, and I think he's been able to have a dominant career. I think my question always about Ramsey is the price tag that comes with the health issues. When he is healthy, he's definitely one of the top corners in the league, and I can't say that he's washed. It's when he's healthy, it's when he's not healthy. That's the only concern when you got about him.
Yes, indeed. Ultra Oscar teams don't recover from those type of losses. What did I?
So when I look at this, did you see Solomon Thomas and how jacked he looked?
I did not. Let
me drop.
He looks jacked
here. Let me see. Cause I think I did a little cutout. Let me drop it right there. Boop. There it is. Bam.
Oh, well. Listen again. I'm not going to couch it. That's the best rotational 3 technique to go along with Osa since I can remember. Leroy Glover, and I mean, I'm just saying we haven't had a rotation with Osa, who is a Pro Bowler.
Yeah. Well, even when I see Guyton out there,
then you go to a Solomon Thomas.
Yeah, that's a big step up. Let's be real. But no, even when I saw Guyton, remember I was showing you, I sent you the picture and everything. I was very concerned about maybe the weight and all that kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, this picture, then all of a sudden he comes out there and you're like, no, man, he's looking really good and stuff. I'm just hoping that the technique has improved and that he's grown as well, because obviously that's one part of football. But the fact that he's committed to doing that, I think that's a big part of. That was always the harp on him coming out of college. He has to be motivated. Well, it definitely seemed like he's motivated. Thank you, Jimbo. Appreciate that.
We got an update. We got Randy McIntyre. He got his room booked at the Excalibur. It's right next door to the Mandalay, and so he's going to be down. So Loyal Cowboy, I know he says he wants to go. So yeah. It's definitely going to be a fun time. I didn't realize they actually had in the hotel, Phil, in Mandalay. They actually have a spot where it says Allegiant Stadium, and with an arrow, there's a path that goes from inside of the casino floor. It's like a 10-minute walk. So that'll be kind of neat. But I don't know. I mean, again, I don't think you've heard. What's up, West Virginia? Did you get your room yet? And hopefully you did. I don't know that you've heard me or Phil say anything about Super Bowl or anything like that. We're just looking forward to getting guys healthy. And,
man, you know what?
Putting this talent together and see what we have. That's what we're looking at. People get like we can't talk about that. We can't talk about that.
Well, I love it. We're not at the team where we're like, okay, we're at the bottom, and it's like, okay, now we have nowhere but up to have to go. You know, it's all like this team has a lot of talent sprinkled across this roster, and yeah, I mean, we're depending on a lot of people having to step up, a lot of people coming from injuries. Coming back and stuff like that. So I totally understand the negativity that can go with any of this stuff. But you have to understand also our positivity when it comes to this team, you know. So it does not bother me at all that people feel the way they do. And I have some arguments of why we can't make it all that, you know, that distance. But that doesn't mean we don't have the team that's all of a sudden capable. I mean, if week 11 we're going to the Raiders game and we only have 2 or 3 losses under our belt, that's a whole different thing than you know, than the previous year, or you know, that means some shit's going right, whether it's defense, whether it's offense, coaching, we don't know by that point, but you know, yeah, just to be relevant by that midpoint after the bye week is going to be huge for us. What a Burger's King. Yeah, that thing was amazing. That was the first time I ever had it, and then these guys go without me, son of a guns.
You know what I'm thinking? I was looking in the hotel, Phil. They have a Wahlburgers.
Yeah,
have you ever had a Wahlburger?
I've never had a Wahlburger. Is that Donnie Wahlberg? Is that what that is?
It's the Wahlberg family has.
Is that I kind of figured Donnie Wahlberg, you know, from New Kids on the Block, and then Mark Wahlberg.
Very good. Yeah. We have one in I think it's in the Borgata or the Hard Rock, one of the two down in Lake City, and very, very, very good. Very good. But anyway, back to the show. Logan says Ultra Cowboys are not going to the bowl. Logan, you don't know shit, dude. Logan, I love you, but you don't know that they're not going to do anything.
Yeah, I can say that. That's what I'm saying. I can think that, but that doesn't. I'm not going to make any bets on anything. You know,
I'm not going to predict it, but you don't know shit. Okay, you don't know. You don't want them to go. You don't think they're going to go, but you don't know. So, anyway, this is what cracks me up with you people. You put out blanket statements like you know. So, anyway.
No, I mean, and that's when I'm looking at this team, they were talking about the offensive line. They were talking about, and that's kind of what I wanted to start to focus on when we go into this camp. You know, OTAs obviously not really being a camp, but, you know, further on down the road. There's some guys on the roster I think that are you know, kind of just being forgotten, just in the sense that I know that for example our Oregon pick later on in the draft for the offensive line, I think he can definitely knock Walesko off of this roster. Awesome Richards, I mean, you know, I brought Shotties turns around and says
nowhere.
Yeah, he says that he's going to put the best 5 out there. I'm not really sure what that means. You know, does that mean that, all of a sudden if we have to slide Tyler Smith over to the side, we'll do it? You know, is that what that means? I mean, I don't get what he's saying. Or is he just trying to light a fire under his ass to keep him motivated? You know, that could be also something that he's doing.
Yeah,
so
I mean, that's probably what it is. He's probably trying to keep him motivated. I like what I heard from Dak regarding Tyler Booker, since we're talking about the offensive line. I mean, he said Tyler Booker, he was just very, very impressed with him in the huddle.
Amazing.
How he commands. He's just he's that dude.
So that's what I want to. I could say this because, like, before the draft, I heard a lot about that. They want some leadership in the offensive line, and they're thinking they're lacking that. And I'm like, how's a rookie going to come in here and just lead the offensive line? That doesn't make any sense. Like, and now I see it all happening, and I'm like, the personality, how everybody else's personality kind of goes along with it. It's just like, okay, now I totally understand. Like, just because you have that person perfect for the role. Let's just be real, man. His energy, he's not saying, it's my way or the highway. He's doing it more of a brotherly love and camaraderie. And I think that's also something what Jadon Blue was talking about is as they interviewed him, he's just like, what really gets you about this Cowboys team? And it's like Elam, I think Elam was talking about it as well. And, coming from Buffalo, and he's talking about the culture, just the atmosphere, the energy, what they're coming into, just everything about it. And I think that says a lot because, that's not something you've been hearing a lot about with Cowboy players leaving, talking about the distractions and everything from this team. But here we go. We got some people coming in from the opposite side saying they love the culture coming into this locker room.
Yeah, that's what you're hearing a lot, and that's what you're going to hear a lot, right? When you have a new coach, you have some a couple long tenured players like DeMarcus Lawrence, Hot Boy, and Zach Martin retiring. You welcome a new voice, and there was a couple trolls in the comments say, well, who's the leader of Dallas? Well, you can say what you want. Dak is a hell of a leader in that locker room. They like him. That has nothing to do with his playoff performances. I get it, but they follow Dak. But outside of Dak, who would you think is the leader? Do you think? I have an idea. Since we're talking offensive line, maybe a Tyler Smith, Phil. I don't know. I mean, who else on that offense? If it's not going to be Dak, who's the leader? CD? I don't know. Who do you think?
Well, man, I need that lead, and that's why I'm saying. I mean, when you look at a guy like Booker, unfortunately, you put it on a rookie, you can't really kind of put that in there. But when you hear his history and where he came from in college and what his roles were, I can understand him being able to take on that role, especially if he gets the rest of the locker room with him. I really can't point any fingers other than the big guns, but. Even with CD Lamb, I don't, how much do I really expect him to be a leader other than just not start shit, really, honestly? It's just, he's a wide receiver. I expect everybody in the veteran department to really kind of take people under their wings to make this team better overall. You shouldn't be threatened by your job, especially if you think you're the man. But when it comes to that, I don't know, man. That's a really tough question. What do you think?
Well, I kind of think, like I said, I think guys like Tyler Booker.
I mean, and a lot of people would rip it because it's a young guy, but if you really look at his history,
Tyler Smith has done nothing but make Pro Bowls.
Yes, but is he a little bit too quiet
in the league?
Is that why?
Again,
you really think that?
It's possible. I'm just saying, if you don't use Dak as your leader, but let's get to the super chat. Randy McIntyre, newly acquired wrench, says Excalibur, baby, right next door to the Mandalay. Yeah, there's a tram that goes right next. Not that you'll need it necessarily, but it goes right from the Luxor to the Excalibur to the Mandalay. But yeah, I don't know, Phil. I'm kind of thinking that that it's going to be. That's what's great about this team. They are so young. Dak is officially the longest tenured Cowboy on the team. So your thoughts about that? How times have changed, right?
It has.
Dak is the longest tenured Cowboy. It's crazy. So
I'm like, sorry, I all of a sudden get a text and everything. Yeah, I'm done with it.
No, that's fine. I normally talk a lot, but
no, that's good. Go ahead, run with it right now. That's fine.
No, I normally do, but Clemente. All Cowboys YouTube content creators are hyped about our team. That's crazy cool. We know that there's a chance. There's a change in philosophy. We have a chance to shit.
Well, the fact that you add almost 30 players to a roster that, and then you get a lot of your guys that were out. There was a big chunk of this roster that was out, and now you got a lot of them. Of course, maybe not the beginning of the season, but the fact that you're getting them in within the season, and yeah, they still got to play through that first year. That's always hard coming off the injury. But again, they're not 6th, 7th round guys. They're not our 6th, 7th round depth or depth chart kind of guys. These are our starters, and if they do play down a little bit, guess what? It's just the rest of that I think the defensive line just got to step up and kind of help them. You got to see what they're doing and then counter it. So some people aren't going to always be able to step up because of the injuries that they have. I worry again about Overshown. I'm going to love it when he's sliding through there and flying through and tackling and stuff, but I'm going to worry every damn time because,
he's already flying around. He's going to be ready at the start of the season. Just to let you know. Overshown will be ready for the start of the season.
I walk on eggshells.
He's already flying around, everybody. So, get ready. Overshown is Agent Zero will be there. You saw when Agent Zero was in the game, he was tough to stop. So he's going to be. That's what's exciting. He flows to the ball. He tackles men. Yeah, we have a lot of guys who can get to the ball carrier or the quarterback behind the line of scrimmage. Again, stopping the run. Drew says it. He's right. Yep. Stopping the run. That's going to be the key. That's going to be the key.
Now, do I love the moves?
To sit and hold the ball.
Yeah, do we love the moves? Now, I don't extremely love them, but we don't hate them as well. I mean, I really like Solomon Thomas being part of that rotation. Just a defensive tackle, defensive line, those type of things. Obviously, I want a big guy, but you can't just create him out of nowhere. You know, this isn't weird science or some shit. You know, it's just you got to take what comes.
Well,
right?
Looking at the thumbnail, we can.
Apparently, I can't create.
Philly D, shout out. Shout out to Philly D. Thanks. We appreciate all the fun being real. Philly D, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Here we go. Let's hit one of these. I haven't hit one of those in a while, and I have one for
He starts to come and then he pulls out. Wow. Thank you. Far too kind. Pow, right in the kitchen.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I was like, I haven't clicked one of these in a while. Yeah. It's like,
yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah,
that's funny.
There's a lot of those, man. Right in the middle of our broadcast, that's when my girl's like, "Can you order us a pizza?" You know, I'm like, "Really?"
Oh, so you're ordering food? Gotcha.
I'm trying to order food while I am also doing a broadcast. I was just like,
I was wondering.
You're not doing anything, sweetie.
Listen, we all have shit going on.
Yeah.
Especially me. I'm right out in the middle here where people walk by or talk, they just feel the need to have a conversation with me, and I tell them
yeah. I'm not doing anything.
But yeah.
I have a room. I close the door.
I love to talk trash, but it's all fun. Logan, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yes.
That's why I get a little annoyed.
That's why I laugh.
People say, like, we're in your head. No, I'm trying to talk about you. You don't want me to talk about you? I mean, what the... Do you just want to hear how great Dak Prescott is every video? I can do that. Yeah. I know a guy.
I know a guy. I can bring him on. Let him rant for an hour.
Oh, shit. I can't help it. I can't go to the show and I'll bury my buddy.
Chris Bay says, I'm going too. Just got to figure it out. Man, we appreciate that. Like, I'm excited about meeting the crew, you know? Just because you're hearing about who's coming, and just man, this is a good crew. That
I just don't want. Listen, I don't want. All I ask is two things. I'm not asking a lot. I want Dallas to be not injury riddled and in the mix.
You're talking about the crew and stuff like that, like.
and then I don't want guys to be bailing because their team sucks and nobody wants to go to Dallas or Vegas.
Yeah, it's all about the experience.
We're going to have a good time despite what happens on the field. But this is coming off a bye week. I really think we're going to be fine this year. I do. If I didn't think it, I wouldn't have been. Me and Phil wouldn't have been buying our plane tickets and our room the first night after last year's debacle. Yeah. But we had fun last year anyway, regardless. So it's not a big deal. But Vegas,
I wasn't going to Green Bay. I don't give a shit what you're saying. I might go to Pittsburgh and stuff like that, but I wasn't going to Green Bay. I'm like, man, even Genty was like, there's nothing to do here, man.
Like Ultra's saying, you can't find rooms already in Pittsburgh. I don't know that I'm going to Pittsburgh. I might, Ultra. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Play it by ear. We got plenty of time. But I like these trips. We do at least one trip a year. This is our trip. So this is going to be the Time Brothers trip. So come spend time with the Time Brothers. It's ringy. And like Randy said, Phil, that's Sunday. It's college football, baby. We got to go somewhere.
Well, Saturday,
for at least for a little while.
Like, yeah, we're gonna have that whole weekend of just football.
I mean, Saturday. That's what
Saturday
I meant.
college football, Sunday like NFL football. Like it could be. Hell, we're already on Friday. We might watch the high school football while we're there and shit. Like just a football weekend. Let's fucking do it.
Well, we did Dallas.
Yeah, we did actually. We did.
We actually did. Phil's like, I think there's a game.
I think there's a game.
Like, yeah, shit.
I think that was even on a Thursday, right?
Yeah,
it was like a Thursday. It wasn't even making sense that it was on a Friday or whatever.
I think it was a Thursday.
So B Fatty says he says quit block. blocking him. You know, he's like, quit blocking him. Apparently, you blocked his.
Be fatty. He blocked you for a reason. Well, tell Bryan, goofy ass, nobody's unblocked. Who's Be Fatty? I don't even know who you are. Who's Be Fatty?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
What's your other name?
And I don't think we were ever like ranting
And if you don't
about
talk,
Zeke.
Oh, remember when you were advocating for Elliott coming back? How'd that work out? I tried to. I don't know who this guy is. I don't block anybody.
Yeah, I don't remember ever being advocate. I remember being it's a better than what we have on the roster. I mean, let's be real. We
Who's
didn't have
Elliott?
crap on the roster. No, I'm
What
talking
Elliott?
about Zeke Elliott, I'm going to guess.
Zeke Elliott?
That's all I'm going to assume.
Fuck Zeke.
But
He's-
like, that's what I'm saying.
he was-
Last year when he
was-
came back, were we ready
Nobody
about
wanted
him?
him back.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, we were happy.
We
the sense it was
weren't
better. than
We
what
weren't
had.
going to win or lose because of Zeke Elliott.
Yeah, exactly. That was a way more than that. Well,
I
then
don't
the
know
fact
who
that
it
like
is,
all
officer.
these injuries happened. I mean, it didn't matter who you
I
really
don't
had
block
there at
anybody
running back.
unless you're rude.
You know, it probably is. It's probably that burning
I mean,
thing.
some of my normal, most visible people in here are mods and they're Eagle fans. What are you talking about? Is Be Fatty Mark Holmes Burner? But anyway,
What's up, Jay?
so where do you want to go with this?
Well, we can go really anywhere.
What's
I mean,
up,
this is what
Jay?
it is. I mean, this is it's you know, there's so many things about this team that you could talk about. Whether that, you know, I'm bringing up the offensive line and where you know, you were talking about Booker and you know, talking about how Dak was complimenting him and that kind of that leadership in the huddle. And I think that's a big piece that you were talking about. You know, that we're just missing was Zach Martin not in the lineup. And not to say that Zach Martin was this crazy leader. Hey, shut your mouth. We're gonna do this. Like, no, nothing like that. But I mean, his presence alone kind of made people feel better, feel like things were going to be taken care of, and I think that right there, I think that's where you can kind of say the same thing maybe for a Tyler Smith, where maybe he is not as vocal, but sometimes we don't know who the true person is too, because remember how Jason Garrett was with a lot of the times, and then Hard Knocks came and he was just
Yeah.
Well,
we can go there too. I mean, I have some ideas. You know, as you know, Dallas had an OTA this past week, and there was 2 interceptions thrown. Both were by Joe Milton, which, you know, it's OTAs. Who cares? But there's a guy, Shamar James, linebacker out of Florida, who Phil wasn't too, you know, he wasn't the highest on. They traded up in the draft to get him. He's a big physical guy. Makes some mistakes. His instincts are questionable in certain schemes. But again, he had a hell of a
he did look the part.
3 days.
He looked the part. Let's just, ain't
So,
Jalen Tolbert? I mean, he looked fucking baller.
Like if you were doubting, yeah. Again, I was very happy with Shamar James. But just looking, like, my thing to you is, if we're talking about this team, you know, and I want to hear from people who know Phil, I don't know. I mean, can good linebackers help the run game be top 15 if you don't have an unbelievable one technique? Let's just say we have what we have. Let's say we have Jay Tweed rotating in.
Yeah.
We know the 3 tech is top notch.
So
but the guy next to him.
There's 2 different
you got
failures
Mozzie,
to me.
You got Jay Tweed.
Yeah. There's 2 different failures, I think, when it comes to that. There's I'm a defensive tackle. I couldn't get pressure, but I didn't move. Now, is that totally a failure? No, I think that's where linebackers thrive, if anything. You know, you're not being pushed out of the hole. You're not causing problems by being pushed back into the linebackers. So if you're able to hold your ground, I think that's a big thing by the defensive tackle. But how many plays are you actually making if you're just holding your ground? But if you're taking out a center and a guard at the same time that you're doing that, and which I think with how his college career was, and if he can eat the peanut butter and get a good off season next year, I'm hoping this year he'll make an impact. But I really look forward to what this guy can do, because seeing him in college, he was a handful for offenses, and you had to really kind of go in there, and he was still pretty disruptive. But if you got a guy that can hold his own and stay there like he was, those linebackers are going to have. You can't tell me that a guy there and then all of a sudden Overshown can read it and just hit a hole, compared to what did we have before? We had a defensive tackle that was just getting pushed out and past the linebackers off to the side, and then they were just running right up the middle and stuff. So, I expect a lot to change, but I think it has to be Eberflus as well, with the scheme that comes behind it too. But as you were saying, I think Eberflus, again, put James in the right position to kind of use his instincts, and I think that's what you saw there. I mean, it was pretty natural instincts that he went and did it.
Again, I know it sounds, again.
What's better than a negative play?
Me.
Yeah.
Pardon me to the people who are going to say, oh my God, here we go. Drew, just like, pardon me. But, I think our linebackers can be dynamic. Again, I'm sorry, but with, Overshown is all over the field, right? Now you bring in a Kenneth Murray, who's a downhill thumper, okay? He's not a sideline to sideline guy. You got one of those. He's a downhill thumper in Kenneth Murray. You got Sanborn, who we got from Chicago, who was fitting in nice, and that's not even counting the young guys that we brought in, right? So that's why I was asking you. I expect another body to be there at the one tech, Mozzie.
Yeah, I would expect that too. Yeah.
Obviously, we invested a draft pick in Jay Toia, and we have other guys there. Don't get me wrong. There's other guys on the roster that are one techniques. We brought Justin Rogers in, second-year player out of Auburn, big boy. Obviously, that position, somebody needs to step up and elevate. If that were to happen, then my God, we got something. Because the one position on this field that I could tell you that for sure that we have too many bodies and they're really good is the defensive edge.
Yep. Edge.
So where would you, obviously you got Micah, you got Ezraku, right? Those two, and you got Sam Williams coming back from an ACL. You got Dante Fowler, Mr. 10.5 sacks or whatever he had, 11 sacks. It goes on and on. I mean, they really are loaded at the defensive end, position. Maybe they look to use that position as to flip for somebody. I don't know. But,
that's when I look at it, that would be the position I would. At some point, it's the draft pick kind of have to slow down a little bit. I mean, it just seems like every single time it's a draft pick, you're never swapping a player or any of that stuff. So it's if you're compensating for the comp pick, then heck yeah, I'm all for it. Especially if you're talking about with Ramsey being a fifth, then eating that 1 year contract on it is not as bad. It's just are you again renting him for a year? It's one of those things, and I think I heard this a while back, and I would agree this.
Yeah.
I would only trade for him if he's also is guaranteeing that he's not going to come back at me trying to get more money next year. You understand? I'm not trying to come at, if I'm going to pay you right now, this is what you're going to be paid, and I can kind of get past that because, I can still figure it out with Bland and, all the other guys. But if you're going to come in here and then all of a sudden hold out the next following year just because you want more money because you think you're, whatever, I don't want any part of that shit. So that's the part of Ramsey I don't want to be a part of because I could see that being a potential
30. Jalen Ramsey's 30. He'll be 31 in October, the end of October, October 24th. So, again, we're not looking for, I know to some people that was like, oh, you're crazy. We're not looking for the top-end, high-dollar guy at this point. No. We have plenty of those. Okay, we're not looking for that. We're looking for a Savon Ravel to actually step in early and be the guy. If he's not quite ready because of the injury or for whatever reason, Kalen Carson in year 2. They invested a fifth round draft pick in Kalen Carson.
Well, my whole thing is that
shoulder injury
with this first year where you're allowing again the scouts to take control and they actually took this. Now you're back on that track of we're getting draft picks. We can invest in young guys. These guys are possibly stepping up. Obviously, you can't predict things like injuries and things like that. But if you believe in your guys, I mean, you believe in your guys. I mean, so I really do believe in a lot of these guys, and I think when I look at the roster, I can point out every single position and tell you either one or two, maybe even possibly three guys on that position that you should get excited about and that are possible Pro Bowlers, whether now or later on.
Randy says, I believe the Cowboys linebacker group is underrated, and this is exactly what I'm saying. I know to another fan base, it sounds like, oh, we're pie in the sky. No, all we're saying is we like these young guys. The reason why they're underrated is because they haven't done it yet. Okay, but that doesn't mean they're not or they can't. So there's a lot of hopes. I get it, but you're doing it with high talented individuals. It's not like we're doing it with a bunch of low, undrafted free agents, and we're hoping, or old veterans that are slow and have lost 1 or 2 steps. We're doing it with young. This is a young football team. This is a young, fast, physical football team that need to get their act together on defense. Okay, last year was a mess, but I don't know. I don't really remember. I'm not going to go back 2 years and say what were we, but I kind of am, because it's a different defense and it's a few different pieces that are gone. Well, basically, the main one is DeMarcus Lawrence is gone, and Eric Kendricks, who's still out there, by the way.
My whole thing is that and I get it, and Drew wants to be negative and stuff like that. But go ahead, that's fine, whatever. And I know you. Oh, it's not negative. We talk about injuries. We talk about Drew. We talk about injuries, and then the moment we talk about the positive, you want to bring the injuries back into the equation. Guess what? Yes, he was injured, but guess what? The last time he wasn't injured, he got 11 interceptions. Oh, the last time he wasn't injured, he got 5 return touchdowns for interceptions and stuff like that. Yeah, push all that shit out of the window.
That's all we're saying.
I'm not saying
all
that
we're saying is that right. That's all we're saying. We're not saying Super Bowl. We're not guaranteeing nothing. But what we're saying is, if Dak stays healthy, we believe.
And then you have to be realistic as well, Drew. That if he does stay healthy, he's a threat. So, 5 interceptions, 11 interceptions. Those are threats.
Stays healthy?
Yes.
If Diggs stays healthy, he's going to have a few picks. If Bland stays healthy, Bland set the all-time record.
Look at the transcript, man. You were just talking about. I just mentioned it to you. I just brought you up into the equation because you had said it in your text. I was saying it, yes, because earlier in the episode, we made the exact same point as you did, and you want to come back around like you're making a point to us. Watch the whole episode, man. Watch the whole episode.
All we're saying is,
it's like when you're texting.
We hope that our guys stay healthy because we know what they can do.
Yeah.
That's all.
And we understand quarterback coming off injury.
Give us,
running backs coming off of injuries. Cornerbacks coming off of injuries.
It's like, it would be like, God forbid, like Saquon gets hurt right early in the season, he's out, right? And then next year, he was hurt last year. He was hurt. You're going to count on Saquon again. You're going to say, well, he did it, right? He did it.
Yeah, he was here.
We got two. Yeah. We got 2 corners who were dynamic when healthy. Mm-hmm. Do they give up plays? Sure they do. Mm-hmm. But they also, create plays, which is why we had 3 straight years of 12 wins.
Do I remember
it wasn't all Dak Prescott.
Remember Byron Jones?
It was the defense, too.
Yeah, remember Byron Jones?
Yeah, Byron Jones couldn't buy it.
What was his name? He went to Cincinnati Bengals. Awuzie, where the guys were always there, but they never actually got the ball. They never tipped it away, and so we lived through a lot of that. So the fact that we got a guy that can make plays. I don't want a guy who's
close. I want a guy to make a play on the ball.
Yeah, close only counts in hand.
Like Savon Rivell.
Yeah. Well, again, the potential is. I
love Savon Rivell.
Again, they have to perform, and we understand that. And then I'm hearing a little word of that's coming through the camp and stuff that people were ranting and raving about was the tight end position. I think that was something that we were talking about that was very strong.
Ooh, let's talk about that tight end position. Brevin Spann Ford.
Yes, that's what I was going to bring it in. Yep, that's what I was going to bring in, man. I think Luke Schoonmaker might be in trouble.
Go ahead.
Luke Schoonmaker might be in some trouble right now.
He on the spot.
Man, hey, Luke, I think you're hurt right now. You might have to start with the pup squad, he's
Ferguson might be in trouble if you don't get his act together. Ferguson shot.
Exactly.
Ferguson, your shot's gone already. Ferguson may be next if Brevin Spann Ford and Schoonmaker, they come out of the box, because Ferguson needs to get paid. So,
yeah. But no, man, it's just when I look at these tight ends, there's a lot of these.
What's up, brother?
There's a lot of these guys going into the camp at least positively. We always know there are some bodies that come in and flash during training camps, and then you never see them after any kind of preseason anything. I hope that's not the case. We've had some guys on this roster that I think this is the prove-it year for some of these guys. There's probably like a good 5 to 10 guys that were probably Mike McCarthy type of guys that necessarily weren't here when Shotty first came in. And so, I think those are the guys that are possibly on the chopping block. And again, well, let's go one of those guys. I think he's been lucky to stay on there.
Oh, yeah.
But
let's go.
It's just there's some guys on here that I'm like, how are you still on this roster? And I think this is the year where you're going to see a little bit of a little pruning of some of this roster. And but going into it,
I think Damone Clark is the dead man walking. I think Damone Clark, you're going to save
good
$5 million just by cutting.
You see a lot of people, and I know you bring him up. I know you bring Hooker up a lot, and a lot of people would say that he's like one of those underrated type of safeties that he does.
Yeah, I don't think you save as much on cutting Hooker, but I know Damone Clark you save almost $5 million. So, but yeah, man. I mean, I don't think we did enough with the safety position right now, unless we're going to transition a Marquise Bell, and when will that take effect? Not Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas. I think Wanye Thomas is ultimately could play that position. No? Do you think he could play the free?
Yeah, dude, I am a huge Wanye Thomas fan, man.
I don't know if he could play the free, or do you think he's more of an in-the-box guy?
No, I think he's out. Man, he played that in college, though. He was really good at it in college. So it's hard for me to say that he can't do it. He made a lot of plays that caused a lot of turnovers. I think that's one thing about his game that, like, it's very, nobody really realizes that in college he caused a lot of turnovers. Even when he was hit the NFL, his first game that he really played, he blocked that punt against the Giants, and which they were driving down the field, and he blocks that punt. All of a sudden, we just score 40-something points on them. So he kind of started that off, and there's been some other times where he's kind of caused some turnovers. So
I have a question.
I'm looking forward to him being in this defense.
What's up, Sugar Daddy? I can't look at his comments.
I know, man.
Alter, I can't look at. God, oh God, I lost my. Oh wait. So how about this? Let me spitball here. What would you think? Let's say they decided to keep Deron Bland. Somehow, some way, they re-sign him.
I think it's always possible.
Right? And Savon Ravel is a revelation, right? He comes in, he just gets better and better. He's everything they thought he was going to be. And then transition, like in the next couple of years.
I think by that,
Diggs.
I think that's where that comes. When Ravel is ready for his renewal, that's when Diggs is. Are you that guy?
Diggs at the free safety now?
No.
Now we're talking.
Man, that actually makes a lot of sense. Actually, that makes a lot more sense. Because then if you give him
coming off with the knee.
Well, if you give him the ability to kind of free roam and look and see what he thinks is happening, I think that is very dangerous for him.
That's what I'm saying. I heard rumor of that, but I didn't know if it was just rumor, or do you think that would be a good thing? Let's say Ravel is who they think he is, or even if Bland is gone, and let's say Carson or Mukuamu, step up. I love Mukuamu. I don't know why he wasn't re-signed long term anyway. Not for a huge deal. I just feel like
maybe he wanted to do. Maybe he wanted to prove it and come back and maybe get re-signed for a bigger deal.
I mean,
sometimes that's
bigger. I mean, I think he fits Eberflus perfect. He's a big corner.
Yeah.
And
that's where Ravel, I think that's
played
where
with J.C. Horn in college.
Mm-hmm.
That's why, like, people who don't know, they don't really know how many really good athletes we have on the team. They just really haven't had too much of a chance. And I keep forgetting that who else looked really, really good? Really good. The Kyer Elam stood out.
Oh, no,
I get it. It's OTAs. There's no pads, but Kyer Elam looked really, really good this past week. Remember, he's a top pick in the draft. He's a first-round pick who was playing out of position in Buffalo. McDermott, Mr. Anti-Tush-Push, him and Jerry. And I just think it's funny. We could talk about that, but he didn't know how to use them. I forgot. Add that to the name list, Drew. Kyer Elam, a first-round draft pick. So, they didn't pick up his fifth-year option like Jordan Davis. So he's in a he's in a prove-it year, or he's gonna walk, or he's gonna get re-signed next year. So we do have Kyrie Elam, who's a big-bodied, athletic guy who cannot play zone defense.
Yeah.
So
I was gonna say, I don't think there's really anything you can do this year that's going to
it could be a failure.
Yeah. Like, even if I see him get 5-6 interceptions, and like people are like, nah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think that's Eberflus thing. Like,
I'm not predicting numbers. I'm just
no,
saying
I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying if he was to do that, I wouldn't even give him credit on that. I'd be like,
Wouldn't you rather be in this position? Wouldn't you guys, everybody in the chat, all you Cowboys, well, even you Eagle fans, wouldn't you rather be in a position to have high talented younger players, like high ceiling guys, high pedigree blue chip athletes coming in, rather than having to go out and getting a whole team of Stephon Gilmore's and Jalen Ramsey's trying to hang on for the last couple of years? At least we have young guys. I'd rather go with a young, able-bodied, athletic, physical, has all the traits, just hasn't put it together. If we can hit on some of these guys, we're not going to hit on them all.
No.
And I don't know who we're not going to hit on. But if we hit on some, we're not even really, then now you're cooking with gas.
Well, right? At least I feel better about, like, the past 2 years, our first round draft picks, I'm been like, our second rounds, I'm like, so, they've had some questionable stuff, Yeah, Leofau. Yeah. That's a guy that could be a leader in our defense.
Leofau.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be the quarterback back there. Yep. He's going to slide into the Eric. So again, we're kind of loaded at linebacker. Again, our problem is, and it's going to be a problem, who's the one technique? Who is it on defense?
And let's be real. Okay, let's say, for example, somebody does step up.
Corner. One technique in corner have to really... Anyway, go ahead.
Well, let's say you do have one person step up. Does that mean the problem's solved? No, man. You still need that depth. What happens if he goes out to injuries, or if something happens, or he twists? Anything could possibly happen. You need more people to step up than just one guy. Just because all of a sudden one guy may pop out, that doesn't mean everything's solved. We're good. Now we can move on to the next position. No, nothing like that at all.
Well, and there's no other example of what's going on with our defensive ends is what's going on with our wide receivers. What's going on that side of the ball, just by the acquisition of George Pickens. Now you got 1A. I don't even.
Yeah, they don't like that. They don't like to be heard that. We're not. I'm not a B. But you're Batman, but you're not a B.
Whatever.
Okay, whatever, man.
I'll be Robin. I'm all right. I'm good. Shout out to Robin. Burt Ward. He just died. But our receivers now are even that much more prolific because we're not relying. Now Tolbert is what, a 3?
Yeah, he's technically a 3 now.
We got Mingo.
Yep.
We got Mingo.
A Mingo ate my reception.
A Mingo stole my baby. Yeah,
Mingo stole my football.
And then we got Cavante Turpin. We got Turpentine, who's going to get a lot of action, supposedly. A lot of talk that he's going to get a lot of run with the wide receivers, not just handing the ball off, So I think speed on this team has gone way up. Because that's the thing. You saw how big Pickens was, but he runs faster than CD. CD had over 1,700 yards receiving last year. So now you bring in a George Pickens who runs a 4.3. I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. And then he got Jadon Blue in the backfield, or maybe catching the ball out of the backfield.
Well, I definitely feel better about it. I mean, you're going into CeeDee Lamb. You had to kind of force feed him sometimes the ball, and again, with him not coming back to it, I think that was a recipe kind of for disaster that could all of a sudden be something, especially if a defense knows where you're going. All of a sudden they start kind of pushing one way. You can't tell me that Pickens is not going to make them regret that. You can't tell me that, okay, now we're going to, let's go ahead. Let's pull our safeties, both safeties. We're going to double team both of them. You're going to tell me that Ferguson's not going to do anything. Turpin's not going to do anything. Tolbert's not going to do a single thing. I'm not telling you Tolbert is the answer. He's, Alvin Harper or any of that kind of stuff. But I know that man has improved every single year in college. That's just how he was. We saw that coming. We knew it going into it. We hoped that he was going to be something more, but we knew each year is just going to be one of those slow processes. After that first year, we're like, okay, we know what we have. We have a guy that's just going to slowly get used to it and kind of just get better and better.
I trust, I hate to say it, I trust Shoddy.
Shoddy.
I don't know if you guys heard that. I played
Yeah,
it. I played it. I trust Shoddy. No, I don't know anything about Shoddy. I hope he works out. I just wanted to play that drop. Dirty Sanchez. Drew says he has puppy love for his dog. At least that's... Oh, God. What's going on in the chat? Sugar Daddy, I would think that y'all would want us to keep trash stack. Just saying. You mean Eagle fans? Yeah. Again, I'm rooting for Dak. I am absolutely rooting for Dak Prescott. Listen, you can say whatever you want about the man. He's trying. He's trying everything he can. He's sculpted his body. He's doing everything he can to stay healthy. I'm just telling you, not many men would be able to come back from his injury at any sort of level, let alone 2 years ago throwing for 37 touchdown passes. Yeah. What Dak has to do to just walk every day is pretty darn impressive. So I'm rooting for Dak to win. It's just he's got the weight of the world on his shoulders when he gets into the playoffs. And I know people make jokes about it, but he really is a good person. I root for the man. I'm happy that he's happy. He's had a lot of tragedy in his life. I don't know who will look on the outside, and it's not like it ain't like Dak trash talks the Eagle fans. I just don't understand why they would hate him so much. But I agree. He has to step up in the playoffs. I do. And it's a team game. We all know it is. But unfortunately, the quarterback gets way too much praise when they win and not enough and too much slander when they lose. But, we've seen it. I'm not making excuses for Dak. He has to play better, 100%. But we got Joe Milton, who's hopefully getting these interceptions out of the way now. There's no
I think this is a couple of year process for this guy. Let's be real, man. He's not going to just all of a sudden start reading defenses and stuff. Yeah, this is a couple of years in the process.
So my question is, who's going to be the backup quarterback?
Will Greer,
who's really going to be the backup? Is it going to be Milton or is it going to be Will Greer?
Dude, I'm a big Will Greer fan. I love Will Greer. I mean, I think he brings a little bit of energy. I'm not saying that he's going to be slinging it everywhere, but I thought he just brought a little bit extra compared to what we didn't have prior. I mean, let's be real. I mean, when he was here before, I was a little shocked. Who's this guy? And then he comes in and kind of just plays and then goes to another team, balls out. And he ends up coming back here. I think. I mean, when he went to the Eagles and stuff, I was like, man, that's a good pick. You guys got a good one right there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he was with the Eagles.
I thought he was. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Maybe I'm
Did he win a ring? No, I don't think.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Hey, I got
that,
news.
I thought he was.
Speaking of quarterback, Kenny Flickett might win the job in Cleveland. He's looking awesome. They're saying Kenny Pickett is looking lights out at the Browns practice.
Is it the cheerleader effect? Is it the cheerleader effect? Like they're not that hot, but because of the rest of what's around it, they look hotter, and you're just like, wow. Like just because now, Dylan Gabriel and Shador are doing their as the world turned drama shit. We're friends, we're not friends. We're competing, but we don't like people putting a label on us, and we're the underdogs. I don't know what their whole thing, man. It's gonna be a Hard Knocks would make sense. They would have had Auntie Ann over there. It's a hard knock life for us, just kind of doing their thing. It's just that there's a lot of just heartbreak already over there, and they haven't even started the damn season. But trying to be positive, they're talking good things about Watkins and stuff like that too. So. Yeah, you're not going to hear them saying bad things about each other, but let that season start to happen where they start losing games, and let's see them keep that positive mentality. So, I was looking. I didn't know. I thought I heard a rumor that Keenan Allen was a possibility for San Francisco, but I guess I'm not seeing it anywhere.
What happened?
No, I was seeing that Keenan Allen was a possibility for San Francisco, but then I'm not reading anywhere else that.
Well, they got Ricky Pearsall, right? I mean, they got Ricky Pearsall. They got Ayuk, who they've been trying to trade, but he's coming back from injury, ACL. And then you went out and who did they get? Oh, who did they get this year? Do we know? Who's their depth chart? I could pull it up.
Yeah, now you got me. Now you
49.
got me.
Yeah.
So what right now? Let's say you got Indiana and the Knicks gonna be playing tonight, huh? So I know I saw some of the chat talking about it. There's been some interesting, crazy games. All I know is that I want OKC to whoop the shit out of Minnesota. So I'm tired of Minnesota thinking that they're the shit, All of a sudden, Edwards thinks is Edwards the alpha? Man, 1 year, half a year, not even success. And they always want to point these guys as goats and stuff like that immediately. These guys throw these names around way too quickly. That's why it's hard to give these analysts, credibility for anything, Some of them used to be basketball players. Shut your mouth. I like those old school was as much as Barkley, terrible, and Shaq and all them, but they at least keep it real, man. They do say some crazy shit sometimes. It's like your uncle. You're like, oh, hey, don't say that in public.
The Niners wide receivers, this is what they got. They got Ayuk, okay. They got a bunch of nobodies. Then they got
Damn, Keenan Allen. Makes sense to me, right?
Isaiah Hodgins, Oregon State. Jawan Jennings, okay. Isaiah Nayor. There's a lot of young guys. Tariq Owens, not T. Owens. DeMarcus Robinson out of from the Rams. Okay.
Randy says, just excited about the changes we made. Go boys. I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's it.
The fact
they
that
could use a wide receiver.
I don't know if they tied Steven up and put him in the back or whatever, but Steven was saying the right shit too, because I think they tied him in the back, said they did a couple of moves, and look, man, we'll let you out, but you got to be able to say the right things in front of the camera, and you got to quit with this random crap of. One thing I hate about what he says is acquisition is a 365-day-a-year job, and it's like, for you, no, I can't say that. It's more of a 2-week job. It's the rest of the time he has time off. He probably has that little out of office type of thing on his door. But he talks about that stuff. But it's just, I can understand the scouting department, but there's a point where there's no longer trades. There's no longer. I guess you could sign people, but it's just, to me, that's just a nonsense comment. It's so bland. It's some of those comments that what used to frustrate the shit out of me when it came to Jason Garrett and Tony Romo is that after some of these losses, just some of the comments that they would say, it was very, kind of, we're gonna get past it. I won't think much about this, and he's like, shit, that means I'm gonna think more about it than you are. I got to defend your loss more than you're defending your loss. So even as they're gone, I still have to defend some of Romo's stuff. And with me, when I look at Romo, he gave me hope when I had a team that was just terrible and wasn't giving me hope,
No defense.
Yes.
No, they had nothing. It was a battle.
Yes.
It was a battle.
So, I think that him going to the 49ers makes a lot of sense. Nick Chubb keeps being brought up. I'm just really baffled that no team has picked him up yet. I think that team that does pick him up is just going to get a really good, determined back that wants to do his thing. I see his videos. I know you're not supposed to get really hyped on it, but it seems like he's cutting, he's doing all the stuff for the guy that had the horrific injury that he had. To be doing all the stuff that he's doing in the way that he's doing it, I think I'd be ready to sign him as well too. So I'm not really sure what teams are doing, and I'm sure as hell not sure why the Cowboys haven't rang that doorbell.
Yeah, definitely. So what's your thought on we got Buffalo Bills are going to be the NFL Films Hard Knocks, but then the end season, and it's going to start in, I believe, December.
Dude, I'm telling
correct
you,
me if I'm wrong.
What they really need to do is figure out, it's like the NFC East right now. Just do the NFC East. You could put 4 of them, one at each place, and
that's
just
what they're
the
doing.
whole season. I'm not talking about. Don't stop. Like, don't stop. Let us
Thanks,
get
West
that whole
Virginia.
season out. Like, let's pull it out. Like, let's see what happened every single week. Let us see all that behind the shit stuff. Even if you have to air it at the very end of the season because they don't want you to see all the stuff that was happening and the secrets and all that kind of stuff. I get that, but I mean, to me, it just seems like it'd be more exciting to watch a whole season, when it ends up happening. Guy, West Virginia Country Boy with a nice show, guys. I appreciate that. I appreciate the replays as well. When you guys don't make some of these shows and able to give us a little replay, man. That definitely helps us a lot. I appreciate that a lot, and I appreciate the love. This helps me get some of these programs to start doing a little bit more of these.
We're trying to get you to 2,000.
I was telling Bryan that we're gonna do a marathon one day, and we're gonna get me to 10,000. So we won't stop until we get to 10,000.
That could be a long show.
Exactly.
We might have smoked meats on the camera for a few hours.
I'm like taking showers on the camera.
Speaking of smoked meats, I did get 4 racks of baby back ribs, and I got 2 big pork butts. I got an 8-pounder or like 7-pounder and like I guess they're both around a 2 7-pounders. So I'll be smoking some meat on Sunday. So 58 days till this year's camp. Bring on football, Randy McIntyre.
And that's the thing about it. At least these
Randy.
moves. I think Randy kind of points something out here, and I mentioned it before. Where last year, I think Cowboy fans, I was very proud of Cowboy fans kind of uniting a little bit more and not going to the camps, not going to some of these games, letting other people kind of go in there. If you want to be the Cowboys and talk your junk about how we're not showing up, well, guess what? Win games, be competitive, be that team, and then you have earned our respect to do that too. Just expect it. It's just like when they put those teams that would just come in here, and because they got the star on the helmet, that was enough for them. And that they're there. I'm just living a dream, and I can just come and collect a check every single week. That's kind of those days are long gone, because that doesn't mean the same that it did before. It comes with a little bit more ridicule. It comes with a little bit more hate. Of course, doubts. It's understandable. With the staff that hasn't been able to do it in the past almost 30 years. They have a lot to prove, and I think Jerry, with his time, I don't know if he feels that it's kind of coming to that point, but it seems like he was a little bit more aggressive this year, and he needs to be this way every year.
Something happens.
Yeah,
something
whether it's
happened.
some diagnosis or
something.
something.
I don't know what happened last year. I know they had to purge some of the roster. I get it, but it's not like they never had money. They could have done stuff earlier.
I really think it was one of those. They didn't want to spend the money on McCarthy, and they needed him to prove some shit before they were going to spend some more, or actually go out and waste some shit.
And I'm tired of that management style, though.
Because they didn't have nothing to. They had nothing to lose. They were going to be here.
Here's the deal, Phil. This is what's got to change with this
Linda, that's
franchise
awesome.
if they want to get over the hump. At sometimes you got to fire a damn coach and pay him not to coach. That's I've never seen a franchise so unwilling to pay somebody not to work, and that's why you got 10 years of Jason Garrett. Right, I love Jason Garrett early on. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, the first 5 years weren't so bad. Yeah.
He talks fine, but probably after year 7, he should have been gone.
Yeah.
He got second contract, fine.
He just reminded me of one of those dolls you'd pull like the
5-year contract.
Yeah, you'd pull the string in the back, and you're well, we were gonna hit the hole. Well, the next man stands up. Like
yeah.
Next man up. Yeah,
And then Jerry likes to go back and say, "Oh, well, I shouldn't have got rid of Wade Phillips." Yeah, you should have. The team quit.
Fine.
Okay, that's just how it goes sometimes.
That was the too much player coach.
I mean, normally, coaches don't last forever. No. You're hired to be fired. Sorry, but Coach Nick Sirianni will be fired one day.
Yeah.
And when he does, you'll have another guy.
Not
That's
everybody's
just how it is.
Not
what
everybody's
doing
Tomlin.
In Pittsburgh.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, the fans in Pittsburgh want Tomlin gone years ago. Okay, they're tired of his attitude. When they're winning, it's great, but it's like the measure of a man is how you are when you're not winning. It's like he hasn't won shit. You want to talk about Dallas? He hasn't won shit in the playoffs. Okay, so why does he still have a job? I don't know why. Just because you could say we've only had X amount of coaches. Who cares?
No.
The fans, especially in this day and age, pay a lot of damn money a lot of money to go to these games. They expect, a coach to be mentally like that. How many times have you heard that about McCarthy, Phil? About how he doesn't put in long days. He likes to delegate. He's home with the family. There's nothing wrong with that.
He already won. Yeah, he already won his championship. He's not as hungry as he was before. Hey, we get it.
You don't like the Dallas media. And anytime he's in that building, he's used to Green Bay. He's used to these cities that if there's 4 reporters there, it's a busy day. And that's not the way it is in Dallas. Every time you go to the bathroom, there's cameras and stuff. There's somebody recording you. So it's like he didn't care for that. And I think he's been saying nothing but glowing things. I just didn't think he wanted to come back to Dallas. I just don't think he really did. I think he would have had to have been blown out of the water to return. And I don't know. I see Ultra saying that Steven wanted to fire him. I kind of figured one of them wanted. I thought it was the other way around. I thought Jerry wanted him fired and Steven wanted him to stay. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll never know, I guess, right?
Wow.
You good?
Yeah, no, just the comments, just the comments and some of this stuff. These guys, they make me laugh. Now, when it came to McCarthy, I think there's just the analytics. There was just some of that stuff. The clock management. There was a lot of things. Not providing help with some of these guys that were struggling at times. The only way that you're going to learn is if you just keep failing, and that was that Jason Garrett. It's just like, well, it doesn't matter. I don't care. We're not changing the game plan. I know we just lost our left tackle and our right tackle. Chaz Green's going to go in there. He's just going to do the exact same thing. And I don't need to put a linebacker. I don't need to put a running back over there. I don't need to help anything with a tight end. I'll just let him do it. 8 sacks later, that it's just those kind of situations and where you're not adjusting. And I saw that in the locker room where you would see some of these teams where they come out, there's adjustments, but with Mike McCarthy, it just seemed like that same game plan. And there would be times where they would adjust some stuff, but I wonder a little bit more if that was more Broughton Schottenheimer than it was McCarthy, because he wanted to kind of stick to that same thing. And so when we talk about when the times that they were struggling, I mean, we know it was Shoddy bringing in Dak and CDE and all them and trying to get on the same page, right?
Yeah, Shoddy. So every time you say it, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna throw you.
It's our Pee Wee Herman, our word of the day. Every time, just
Shoddy. How many times did you say Shoddy today?
Every time you say Shoddy, you gotta take a shot. Oh man, we be blasting.
Oh God, Dirty Sanchez. Oh God, you're not.
I know. That's where I'm like, wow.
Oh man.
But anyways,
deal, Drew. Don't hit.
What do you think's gonna happen? I'm a little curious because of this. What do you think's gonna happen with Aubrey? You think he'll get re-signed by us?
Yeah. Yes, so? I do.
Yeah.
I do. What do you think?
I think so too. I think
you can't let that kid go.
No, you can't. After what's happened, but you're gonna have to pay him something.
Frisco's own.
Yeah, I think that's where you kind of save a little bit more with the punter, for example. We don't need to be paying Angers $5 million a year to be punting the ball. I mean, come on, man. We could be somebody a fan that could be like, oh, the ticket number thing. You're gonna be the punter today. You're like, fuck yeah. You're like, just go out there. He destroyed and stuff, but I don't want to spend $5 million on a punter every single year.
Where you been, man? Where you been? It's my go-to. Diet Coke and rum.
Cuba Libre.
Diet Coke and rum.
Not Diet Coke. He feels healthier.
Yeah, hello, guys. Esman.
Dude, I am excited. You know what?
Come on here anymore.
You know what this son of a bitch did to me today, guys? He sent me a video of the Mandalay Bay. No, you, man. He sent me a video of the Mandalay Bay whole thing and where's the tour and everything like that. And man, it's just until November, man. I'm all excited. I want to go next week, and now I gotta wait. Wait.
I just was. You know what I was looking at? I was like, okay. I told everybody to go to Mandalay. I briefly did a little bit of research because I wanted something. I've been to a few of the hotels on the strip. I stayed at them. I've been in the Mandalay, but I don't remember
I'm gonna take you back.
What's up, Rock?
Way
there
back.
he is.
Back
Chuck
in the town.
Rock is in the house. What's up, man?
Training
Rocks in the
camp,
house.
nice
Thank you,
ass,
my man.
Nice. But anyways, continue. You were saying about the Bay.
Yeah,
When
well,
you're
I
picking
was
it.
looking for a place that was close to the Allegiant Stadium, and so that was the whole idea, and that is the closest. But they actually have an access path that's you can walk right to it, you know. And that time of the year feels like it's gonna be nice. Yeah, it's actually average temperature in that is like 70 degrees, so it's not like real hot.
Yeah.
And at night you have to wear a hoodie, which is nice.
I love it.
That's nice.
Yeah, I got a wide variety of stuff.
I've never been to Vegas. I've been there 4 times. Always been in the middle of summer, so I'm actually excited about going. So we need to get. I know Randy, not McIntyre. Randy Stites said he wanted to go. He said something about Mark. I'm like, yeah, Mark, don't go anywhere. So this is the Primetime and Gametime
Boys.
Bryan trip. So
Time boys.
we're
Jay
going.
Smooth asking,
And
hey, Game Time, who you think Dallas starting running back will be?
Starting running back.
If you were to pick it today, I guess if you were to pick it today, and not what you think they're going to possibly make a move and stuff like that,
It would be
who'd it
J.
be?
Don Blue.
Ooh,
I think it would be
really?
Blue.
I think it'd be Williams. I think it would be Williams at this moment, at this point,
Yeah.
just because of
I mean, it's possible.
I'm not saying that he's going to be
I
all of a sudden a
think
Pro Bowl
Blue
running
on-
back or anything. But
Yeah, I think Blue and then Williams.
I think Blue is that
Yeah.
great change
But,
of
you know-
back pace, kind of like what Tony Pollard was early in his career. You know,
That's another position. That's another position, Phil, that we could actually go out. There's very talented guys out there. Like a Nick Chubb. I saw Randy talk about him
Dude, I'm
earlier.
telling you, man.
I'd be all on board with a Nick Chubb. Maybe swap him out with Miles Sanders. I would be okay with that. But I don't know what type of offense they're going to really try and run. Talk is cheap, so we'll see. I think with Pickens, again, they're going to have to their bread and butter is going to be throwing the ball. So
that's funny.
you want to run the ball, which is why you got Booker. And it's going to be important to run the ball. But, again, that's going to set up some deep shots.
What's up? I love weed. What's
Argue
going on, man?
The best deep threat guy in George Pickens running the go route. Them 80-20 balls. That's going to be fun to watch. So,
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
up, Crowley? How are you, brother? But Randy McIntyre said he's seen a video on Chubb. He looks damn good. Again,
Yeah,
Randy,
man,
I'm fine with that. We have a crowded room, but we know we're already hearing that Phil's guy, Deuce Vaughn, might be the odd man out. That'll be kind of interesting if they do that with his father, Chris Vaughn. Is that his name, Chris Vaughn?
Yeah. But he could be back on the practice squad by
That's
that
rough.
point. He'd be
Because
back
I
on-
don't think he really got a shot yet under that horrible offensive line of the last couple of years.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I
So,
think he's
I
one of
don't
those
think he's-
guys that you would possibly bring back onto the practice squad if you let him go right now. You know, I think he would be one of those guys. You would release Miles Sanders. That would be the guy you would release completely,
Yeah.
and you would release Deuce, but you would bring him back after he would clear those waivers. And I'm gonna be real. I don't even know if he clears those waivers. I think another team would find some success with them because I don't think McCarthy used them correctly, and I don't think he had chances. Anytime that he really got the ball, he was already being tackled in the backfield because the blocking wasn't there, you know, or the scheme.
It was
Oh,
not there.
we're gonna do a draw play, so you got to let them run up the field. But then, you know, they were disciplined linemen that were not running all the way up the field. They weren't really, respecting that whole fake and stuff. So that's something I'm interested to see, just because now at least we have more capable running backs. I'm not saying that it's the answer, and I'm not saying that they're going to be, they're going to be all of a sudden in the Ring of Honor one day.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
You know, I would be unbelievably happy if they went with a Hunter Lepke, Jadon Blue.
If you're
I
gonna
mean, like,
you know
everybody
what?
forget
If you're gonna
Lepke.
do Hunter Lemke, I am not a Hunter Lemke. Let's put some Mike Allstott and Daryl Johnson pads on his ass, and then maybe I will change my mind, because every time I look back there, I see a guy that's very hesitant still, you know, and I'm hoping that this offseason he's able to kind of get
Yeah, I
some confidence
hear what
under
you're
his belt,
saying.
you know.
I hear what you're saying.
He's like, I want
I
a
just
guy.
know we got a lot of bodies there. It's
Yeah.
not like we don't have bodies. People act like you have no running backs. That's just not true too.
Let's be
Again,
real.
it's a lot of lip service at this point.
I want Hunter Lemke saying Cam Scatterbo type of shit. You know, I'm ready to run some people over, even though you know you about to get your ass handed to you.
He's 5'6".
You know?
He's running through people. You watch.
Randy, I think so too. I would like that as well. Lemke at tight end.
$120 on us.
Yeah, I mean, at least I'm not saying at tight end, like put him at tight end. I'm saying that like if he's not going to be all the time at fullback, you know, throw him at tight end sometimes. Let him use him out there. You know.
I like what I saw from him, but I'm just saying let's not forget about him as a runner of the football. But you know, we got options. We got some electric. I mean, again, there was, there was Eagle fans that were high on Jaden Blue. So Jaden Blue is electrifying. He's just not a 3-down running back. So, and we don't really. Let's be honest. That's not what we want, right? We can't like say one thing and do another. Do we want to have a 3-down running back? You know, kudos to the Eagles. They got Saquon, but there's not many of those around. And when Saquon goes down, when you get a guy who's constantly the only guy running the ball, then it's a bit of a change up to go to somebody else. Whereas if you have a running back by committee, if somebody gets banged up, okay, another guy slides in. You know, I'm just saying, we've been there.
Yeah,
we've been there with the bell cow. There's benefits to both.
Yeah.
You know, and if I had a Saquon, I'd ride him till his wheels fell off, like we did
DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, that's fun. Let's be real. I'm very proud of that whole thing. You know, people ride us on that one, but I'm very proud of how they handle that shit. Like they rode that thing and they let him go get his contract, and they just did not want to. Nope, they didn't want anything to do with that after that. They're like, you see, they're like, I just drove the car, and now the car they want to sell the leased car back to me, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm the one that drove this shit. I know what mileage is on there. That's not highway miles. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's not highway miles. Yeah, I hear you.
So
I hear you.
So I'm interested to see. I mean, he makes a great point. Who's the starting running back before you go into the season? Is there another move in the mix? You know, is Deuce Vaughn the guy that gets thrown out there? And I think tight end was something that, you know, maybe some of these guys can go at.
Up a good point.
Yeah, and so...
Jay Smooth. Exactly. We have multiple guys. Kevontae Turpin was clocked as the fastest guy in the NFL last year, as far as with the ball in his hands, actually football speed. Get him the damn football. Now you added George Pickens. You have Jaden Blue. Again, we have fast mofos on that offense. Get them the ball. Speed kills. Design plays. That's why, you know, and not to beat a dead horse, but we did a video a few weeks ago where McCarthy had everything, right? You already couldn't run the ball, right? And they were playing light boxes, but they were running everything back to the line of scrimmage, keeping the corners in.
Yes, everybody was up at the line of scrimmage like they were playing rugby or some shit.
Everybody was in the. Remember, he ran. He was trying. They even said it. He goes, oh well, because they were talking about spreading out the offense. Remember, they were talking about widening the formation, and they're like, oh well, the best team in the league, Kansas City, runs the tightest formation in the league, or the Super Bowl winners. That's what he was saying.
Yeah.
You're not Kansas City.
Yeah, sometimes they forget about who they are.
City.
Yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, I think that's what they kind of forget. They stick to a formula instead of going, maybe a little bit of everything works, right? I mean, let's be real. Like we all know you can't just stick to a draft. You got to do some free agency, or you can't do some free agency. You got to do the draft. Or you got to do that in between. Oh, you know what? We did this free agency. We did the draft. And guess what? We need one or two more pieces. And you got to go and continue that. A true, player acquisition is really a 200-day-a-year job. Let's be real, man. There's a whole bunch of that where the NFL bans it unless you're bringing somebody else that you already had in mind. That was work you did previously. Let's be real. You didn't just go, okay, we need a corner. All right, let me go start doing some research. You know who's out there. It's stuff that you did then. So I think it's just funny when there's just these blanket statements that come out of his mouth that I think he wants to go, if I'm ever wasted and I just need to have money, I want to be able to just verbally just say these things without ever even thinking about it. It's just stuff that comes out of my mouth because I've said it so much. I even say it in my sleep. Player acquisition in 365 days. Just I don't know. I don't even know if he believes what he says sometimes with Stephen Jones. So it just makes me
Tyreek slow down a little bit.
It makes me, not with all that drama, man. That's stuff. Like I was all for it in the beginning part, but then like you see all that shit that he's in there right now. His wife, his getting another divorce, and he taking the baby, and she's like, he never even saw the baby one time, and it was it's this whole thing with him. And then by the time probably by the end of this broadcast, he probably had another baby in the middle of that. So I don't know if you really want to be a part of that whole thing. So I know.
Yeah, he just impregnated somebody.
No, and especially with these other two wide receivers, I just don't think, I know they would all love it and get along, but I mean, somebody's obviously not going to be getting their stats, somebody's not, and some of those guys, they're all about the stats, Do you think Booth is making the roster? I don't think so.
You think Booth is making the roster?
Are you talking about the corner? Andrew Booth? Andrew, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think there's a,
because, Jay?
Remember,
I don't know. He could.
Butler got hurt, I know, by that point. But, man, he was balling in the UFL, and he was balling when he was here with the Cowboys. So, like, again, another guy that's injured. We have to come off of an injury and stuff. But when he was healthy, it was a great football that he was playing. So, yeah, you're relying on a lot of guys that were hurt. But guess what? That means they were just football players, man. They were getting in there, tackling, doing all that kind of stuff. So, it does suck. It is a part of the game. It just, I wish you could turn it off and just kind of go by talent alone, but that's not the case. But one thing I wanted to point out, though, I don't know if some of you guys, and maybe some of you guys in the chat have seen it. Have you seen those videos with Aiden Hutchinson?
I have not.
Man, they look bad. Like
what happened?
They just like he's running. He's trying to show that he can run full force, and like it looks bad. Like it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same burst. It's not the same. Like it looks wild, very wild, and I'm hoping it's just because it's not healed all the way or itself, but it didn't look great. And I don't know, and I'm pretty sure I think I'm hearing her Randy was talking about it as well too, but I don't know, man. When I saw it, I even told my comrade where I saw it, and I was like, man, he did not look good. He goes, well, I saw it, he looked okay. I go, I don't know, man. And when you watch it, you can just still tell that he's, it's very weak, and I don't expect it to be strong. He's still. It was still in the beginning of the season, so he still hasn't even been a whole year yet.
I believe they're the favorite to get Hendrickson. I really do. I think if Hendrickson is traded, he's going to go there because I don't see, if Detroit is serious, I don't see how they could go with the assumption that he's going to be 100% because I don't think he can do that. So why not, if you're Detroit, go out and give Cincinnati what they want and just trade for a Hendrickson and bring him in, and he's going to hit the ground running. I think that would be a great move for them. That's just me. That's what I would think. Yeah,
I mean, you rent him for a year. Basically, he'll be determined. I think I wouldn't be wanting.
I'm going to keep him there.
That's a big contract. I think
they have money on the cap. Yeah,
I mean,
they have definitely money on the cap, but. Yeah, tell people what happened at your
Randy.
Your hotel this week with the NFL people.
Oh yeah, they have some groups and stuff like that they all meet up on and everything, and so it's really cool to see some of these guys from New York Giants, Minnesota Vikings as well, Pittsburgh Steelers I think is there, so it's like having a good meetings as well. So I mean these guys, I think they have their spring.
Tell them what you said though.
This spring meeting, oh yeah, they're like, it's going, we don't have any Dallas Cowboy representatives here, and I go, yeah, it's probably why it's going so smoothly. You don't have that one guy. They laughed their asses off. They thought that was funny. They thought that was funny. Like they knew exactly who I was talking about. Let's just say, he is known around the NFL. But no, man, it's great to see just just them out. I mean, the NFL is thriving. I mean, we're talking about international games. We're getting pissed off as fans because they are adding more games, but the roster's not getting bigger. I think that's the biggest thing. More games, international stuff, this and that. You can't practice. I know injuries are at an all-time high. Is it grass or is it turf? There's so many things that are like is these injuries, but at no point has the roster gotten bigger with the maybe some of these guys wouldn't get these larger contracts if we were having to spread it out a little bit farther. You know, so I mean, maybe the player people would get more on board about paying those other guys. Well, we can't just have 5 players making 80% of the money. So, what are you laughing about over there?
Yeah, right.
Oh my
Just
God,
the
miss it.
chat.
Yeah.
Getting brutal.
Man, it is.
We
Like,
gotta get here for everybody.
You guys are like, yeah, good thing you guys can't physically see it. If this was a show or a bar or whatever, you'd be throwing like glasses at each other.
Oh yeah, somebody would have got their throat punched by now. No, I don't think so. It would have been good. It would be good.
Catch me outside. How
Ultra,
about
you're
that?
probably right.
Exactly.
How about that?
How about that?
I think you're going to sign him, but if he does leave, I think he goes to Detroit. Randy, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. He wants to get paid.
Well,
Eagles
I would
need-
say the 1 year. I
you
think
can
1
still
year
do
could
it?
go out and do your thing, and then go get
Oh,
paid
yeah,
next
1 year
year.
deal. That would be, I think, the only way. I mean, I don't know. Anything can happen, but he is 30. Do you want him long term for the money that he wants? He might be pricing himself out. I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. Again, Howie hasn't really made a lot of big moves this offseason. I think he
Thank you,
knows
Jeff.
what's coming with these contracts. So you can't, as much as you think you could spend, you just can't. If you want to have any sort of flexibility, God forbid, you guys, I don't want to say the word, but if God forbid shit happens, and you need as much flexibility as possible. And let's face it, your defense is already allotted millions and millions of dollars. You're gonna have to pay Jalen Carter.
I would.
Then again, you got 2 young guys on the outside, so meaning your
Damn, the Knicks already
corners.
came
You
back.
could
Holy
potentially,
crap.
potentially go get a Hendrickson. I just think that Detroit would.
Well, that's the thing is you do have the
I've
availability
already
to go
known.
out and get somebody like that. That's why you bring up a Ramsey. That's why you bring up a Henderson. Is that you
Like he
do have
doesn't
the
make any
ability.
sense for Dallas. He don't.
Ramsey?
We haven't.
No.
I hate to say it.
Well, we already got injury
No,
guys
I'm talking
that
about
like Hendrickson. Oh
Yeah.
no, because
I'm
we already have
saying
edge
Henderson.
rushers.
I'm
No, we
sorry.
already have a lot of
Yeah,
edge
Ramsey.
rushers. Unless you're going to push him
Yeah, I don't think that
inside,
would work.
I think he's very capable of going inside. Now I don't know how he's going to be a true defensive tackle, but I think he's big enough to go inside.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know how.
I think if they
willing
brought
he'd
in
be.
Hendrickson, I think that's where a DJ Reader would maybe come available at that point, Randy.
Yeah, I like DJ Reader.
Champ is
saying-
pleased.
Where is the-
Drew, you best hope Dallas don't ever win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years. Because we're going to wear that fucking word out, bro. We are going to wear it out.
We'll get
We're going to
t-shirts.
wear that shit. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. Exactly. Just best hope we don't win a Super Bowl. Because it's going to get lit.
No, we knew that. I mean, that's how we saw it. We kind of saw the thing, and we're not shying away from it.
Best
We understand what roster we're
make
going
it
against,
as-
but again, we're not scared of it. It's just I really love this team, and I love that they're even last year when they had Cooper Rush and Trey Lance, they were still wanting to whoop some ass. They didn't want that. There was that pride that was there, and I love that about my team, and it does suck that they had to rely on some guys that were coming off of doing the whole Kurt Warner thing and coming from a shopping, stacking groceries and stuff like that to go in and playing in the NFL. So, hey man, we found some talent. I think we found some really good talent that I wasn't expecting last year. Of course, Joe Butler would be one of those guys. Who's that pass rusher?
Butler, yeah.
Who was the pass rusher that Carl Lawson?
Lawson, yeah. Carl
Yeah.
Lawson's still out there. Again.
Yeah, another one
Yeah.
that why is he picked up?
I mean,
And it's
I
like,
said
but
that to
I
the
understand
Eagles
why
and
we
they kinda
aren't.
rolled their eyes. Go look at what Carl Lawson did.
No, Carl
to us
Lawson would
last
be
year.
yeah.
Oh, Lawson came on big time.
He'd be good. depth.
He was
would,
a
yes.
yeah. He would be good on the Eagles.
Oh,
but
I think he's.
again,
I think any team he would make better.
No.
Definitely would.
Don't you think Bland in the slot, Randy? That's a possibility. I don't think he's gonna want to do it. For obvious reasons. Again, I think Bland's better than Diggs at this point as far as corners go. So that's just me.
Yeah, just how they were playing and
I
reacting
think
and
they-
stuff. Like, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think- yeah. So I could see that. I mean, I could see a Bland playing slot. I mean, we have a lot of options.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a lot of options.
Yeah, I would agree. Dallas still has a lot of questions. Definitely does. But I like the steps that they're pushing forward to this team. We're building a team, and like, again, we're not predicting a Super Bowl, but I do predict us to be at least a threat. And any threat is always a threat to being a possible contender. And what does that mean, a contender? That means a possible champion. So to say that that's not a possibility, I mean, no, I'm not going to say that. But at the same time, it's like, I love where our roster is going. It feels better than the last draft, where I wanted to go wide receiver, of course, in this draft, and we go guard. And I totally understood it. It wasn't the same move as a Mozzie Smith and all those guys where like, okay, we did the whole, we needed a position, and this is the best guy for that position. That was what we were expecting to do, right? This year, one of these wide receivers. I'm interested to see how these other guys do. Ibuka, I expect him to do well in Tampa. I think him and Baker Mayfield can definitely get a hell of a chemistry going. I'm interested to see what Golden does as well. What's that NFL going to be, what NFL careers are going to be, and even McMillan. I mean, yes, he wasn't there for us at the draft, but was he worth that top pick that of being out there? Are the other wide receivers going to outshine him in this draft?
Yeah.
So I mean, we talked about it going into the draft. There was a lot of wide receivers that could possibly be those guys. And there's always somebody in the later parts of that draft that always step up and becomes amazing. Rod Smith, all those kind of guys.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he wasn't drafted, but
Drew says that's all I have been saying, guys. There are a lot of question marks for Dallas with a very difficult schedule. Yes, and we're saying, and I agree with you. There are, we need to see some answers. That's for sure. We just tend to lean on the positive end.
Drew, I mean, again, Bland and Diggs get
That's all.
burnt, but they don't get burnt the
More-
most, and they get the most turnovers.
And they're going to fail.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just a matter of if each one of these moves or 3/4 of these moves don't work out, then it'll be.
Well, let's be real. I mean, we could have some of these guys as well too.
They work out. It could be big time. That's all.
Well, let's say too. I mean, I'm going to go on the opposite side on this wall too. But we could have some of these guys all of a sudden ball out, and it could be Eberflus's system that's kind of helping them as well. I mean, where I talked about James, and I wasn't really sure where they go, and then he instinctively makes an interception because they put him in position to make that play. So, it's going to be a fine line that you're going to have to figure it out. Where's the talent? Where's the coaching? Even when they make failures as well, too, when they make a bad play, was that coaching? Was that the player not instinctively being in his spot? I think I saw a lot of what was happening when I look at Osa. I love Osa, and I think I'm glad to continue to have him in this defense, especially, he took a team-friendly deal to stay here. He left definitely millions on the table. Sorry, I got the hiccups, man. I'm like trying to get through this. But when I look at that, I feel like when I look at his previous years, he was trying to do other people's job as well. And so once you start trying to do other people's jobs as well, that's where things go downhill. And that's what you're trying to do as Shoddy. You're trying to build a camaraderie to where you can trust that guy. I'm going to do my job because I'm going to trust that my neighbor is going to do their job, and we're going to protect each other and stuff. So this is shit that I was saying and hearing since I was high school, middle school, football, college, all that type of stuff. These are things that we talked about. And I think you have a guy like Shoddy that's been in the industry for as long as he have. And yes, not been a head coach, all new. But I like what he's done so far, and let's hope that, he can continue that type of culture and then people will buy into it. So I'm interested to see what other guys, Clayton Adams, I'm extremely excited about that coach. So I'm interested to see what his influence does as well.
Yeah, we're excited. We feel like a young team. Obviously, our quarterback is 30. He'll play at 31. Still relatively young, but we all know Dak is an old 30. Yeah, but we have a young team, a young, talented team. Just how is this young coaching staff going to gel? Is it going to be able to gel to get off to a type of start that's going to keep us in contention? And that'll be the question that we'll talk about through the whole offseason as we see more and more with our eyes, and then we get into the preseason. You won't see too much, but we have such a young team. You're going to see some stuff. Who can stay healthy? How is this team going to take shape going into Philly week 1? So that'll be fun. That will be fun. I can't believe we've been doing it for an hour.
Yeah, man. I was about to cut it off as well too. So, but anyways, Brian, I think we've said it all. I don't think there's anything you can say to the crowd that we haven't already talked about in some kind of way. I think
it was fun, guys. It was fun.
There was still a lot. I think we still didn't cover, and I think that's what the off season is for, man. We come in here every single week and we talk football.
We
talk
the
about
chat.
Yeah, no, great, love it.
Yeah,
you guys are all hostile
fun.
towards each other. So hostile.
Yeah. I don't think it's that bad.
No. But it's all fun and games in a sense.
Yeah.
So, Brian, man, I appreciate you coming through. When are you going to do a chat? I know tomorrow I got some stuff.
Probably tomorrow. I'll definitely do something tomorrow. I mean, I don't really know when. It might be in the morning. Like I might do a breakfast thing. Or, we'll see. So, but we'll definitely do a couple things tomorrow. So stay tuned, everybody.
Yeah, Vinny.
We got to get ready for my smoked meats. I'll have some smoked meat videos.
Yeah, don't forget to hit those likes on the way out, and definitely watch those meat videos.
Listen, everybody watching this, we're trying to get Phil to 2,000.
I'd appreciate it if you could share it, any of that stuff. So I'm trying to get up there.
He would have had it already if he would have did more videos.
Yeah, let's be real.
He does one every other week, and he does it when
I'm
he
so lazy about
He's
it,
a
man.
high profile. No, but you see when he puts his mind. I'll tell you why he don't, because he puts all this type of effort into it, and look how beautiful it looks. So
appreciate that. Man.
That being said, let's get the likes up, let's get the subscribes up, and let's share this bitch.
Appreciate that,
and let's get it going. And again, please, me and Phil are locked in. I know a half dozen people are going, but we need to. I want to see, I got my room. Yeah, I got my room. And if you guys want a roommate, we got people who want to go but don't want to have a room by themselves. You say, well, I don't know these people. I could vet these people. I know Wade. Wade drove us all around Dallas.
I fucked up his back seat. And I lost his headphone set. Well, he says. I think that was a tax break thing. He wanted it. Well, my friend broke it and stuff.
I think it was a lot. I don't buy that. I don't remember seeing a headset on the floor.
Somebody was obsessed with him and kept it. I'm gonna keep a souvenir of Wade.
I think it was a lot lizard. That took it.
I was all like.
Nah, I'm not buzzed. I'm not. I'm actually kind of tired. I was gonna go into jacuzzi. Not buzzed, man. I wish I was buzzed, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think I might have to try to do something to become buzzed. I think. I appreciate that, Mouse. I really do. I appreciate all the super chats.
Insert cash or select payment type.
I need to come up with new ones. I'm buzzed. I like that. Thank you very much. I like that. I'm buzzed. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, everybody. As I go through, as we grow, I'm going to be putting more. I have a list of people that I obviously in the order of trying to get some of these mods going as our channel grows. There's certain ones I love you, Ultra, but it's hard for me to want to give you the mod because you'd be a little bit crazy with it and stuff. So I appreciate everybody coming through, talking. I don't think
he would. He doesn't block anything on my channel. So
okay. I think he's definitely been.
He wouldn't block anybody. Ultra's anti-block.
Yeah, he likes to hear all that trash.
Ultra may get somebody to block themselves.
You're like, you know what? I'm on a timeout.
Somebody to block themselves. Oh shit!
Well, one thing I appreciate everybody being chilled, and one thing I appreciate everybody forgetting not to do is forget not to ring that bell.
Ringing that bell.
Damn right, guys. I appreciate everybody. You guys take care.
That was ominous. What the was that? What the is this?
Se va. Sáquenme la botella que funda para gastarle. Esta noche tú y yo nos vivimos la película. Luce cámara, la acción después en mi recámara. En el duelo no se sabe quién ganará. So baile, baby. Ese seguro y retrocede. Que me encanta la manera en que tú lo mueves.
Solo pégate un poquito, mami, que yo quiero enseñarte lo que yo tengo para ti. Lo que tengo para ti. Sé que te va a encantar como meto yo.
What the heck was that? Forgot what I was gonna say.